So demand letters are, at least for the here and now, here to stay. I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the phenomenon broadly and things that you can do to address it. The first thing we should acknowledge is there is no silver bullet. And as we've watched this unfold, the history is somewhat useful. In the very beginning, we saw most companies complying with CCPA and putting a footer link that gave people the ability to opt out of sale of personal information. Demand letters start coming in because there's no notice. Then you see companies reaching to their cookie banner to provide some sort of notice, even in California, even though CCPA doesn't require it. The next move in the cat and mouse game from the plaintiff's attorney side is they're arguing this isn't reasonable notice because the data collection or the intercepts are happening concurrently to the notice or sometimes even before. So the next move on the privacy tool side is to create some separation between when that notice is given and when the data collection starts happening. So imagine adding 10, 15-second kind of delay or buffer between the data collection and the notice itself. Now that, as it stands today, is one of the best things, if not the only thing that you can do on the notice side. Now, the second thing that's worth discussing is auditability. If a plaintiff's attorney comes to you and makes some set of claims, you want to be able to prove that whatever the claims that they're making are or aren't true. Sometimes these claims are just completely irrational. So having a strong auditability framework in your privacy tool is certainly useful. The other thing that's very useful is being able to process what's called a HAR file, because most times in these cases, the plaintiff's attorneys are generating a HAR file and using that as the proof that this thing that was right or wrong didn't or did happen. And sometimes they actually make mistakes in processing that information. So at Ketch, we have a product called Data Sentry that you can actually upload into the tool to process that HAR file and graphically represent what was happening and do a little bit of fact checking on the claims that the plaintiff's attorney is making. And the other thing you can do with Data Sentry is you can run these types of tests before any plaintiff's attorneys are on your website, just to understand the nature of the data that you're collecting. For example, if you're shipping sensitive information off to some third party, you're going to have a little bit more exposure than if you aren't. So you want to understand that before they come after you. The other thing that of course you want to check is the timing and the delay and the delivery of the notice that you give and when those tags are firing. So these types of tests are another useful tool. So in summary, there is no silver bullet, but creating separation in your notice, having auditability, and having testing in place to fact check the plaintiff's attorney and check yourself before they come after you are kind of the three broad buckets of techniques that we're seeing most effective in managing this situation today.